GMAC, GMAC, GMAC. This is Paradigm Live, the weekly CyberBroker show to keep you up to date on everything in the CyberBrokers universe. I'm Mike Carterell. I'm community manager and friendly leftover.
And I'm Brianna. You might know me as Lady Diamond Hand. I help with marketing ops and lore here at CyberBrokers.
And we are past Mech Assembly.
Exciting!
Yes. Before we get into it, it's just been so much fun watching everyone mint their mechs, play with their mechs, and how easy it's been to just use them, right?
Yeah, we've been waiting for this day for a while, and we're just so excited that our holders can get these assets in their hands. And like you said, we're already seeing what you're able to do with these, like right from the moment you mint it. So it's been less than a week, and we're already seeing some really awesome stuff. And we are going to chat about some more things you can do today with your mech. We have some fun things planned coming up in the near future of things that you'll be able to do with your mechs. So we're just really, really excited for this next era of CyberBrokers.
Okay, so sorry, our excitement is overflowing here. Let's get into it. So what is CyberBrokers for those who are new?
Mm-hmm. So yes, CyberBrokers, we are a metaverse-native media and entertainment company, and we're working on building an entire universe through our digital collectibles, our content, and our interactive experiences.
And you can check us out on the internet, cyberbrokers.com. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, cyberbrokers with an underscore. And we have 2 collections currently, CyberBrokers, which also comes with Pixel Brokers, and Genesis Mechs.
Yes, so exciting.
Okay, let's talk about what we're gonna talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a bunch of events coming up this week. I want to cover those.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna go over Pixel Brokers again. So if you're new here, Pixel Brokers are an extension of your CyberBroker assets. So we're gonna go into some things new with Pixel Brokers, which we're excited about.
Yep. And then we're going to spend a lot of time on a reasonable amount of time on Genesis Mechs, just making sure everyone's up to speed. And I wanted to put a note, there's some great conversations going on in Discord about 3D printing your mechs. So if that interests you, make sure to pop in to Discord. And then we have an overview of Hyperfy, which again, 3D building. And we're going to give a quick overview of what it is and a live demo.
All exciting stuff.
Every week.
Yeah.
Okay, so events this week. We've brought back creators calls and expanded them to office hours. So every Tuesday at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Time in Discord, there'll be someone there from the team for an hour. Pop in anytime, any questions, ideas, bounty questions, things you might want to create, whatever your question is. Pop in, there'll be people there to chat with. And then if you didn't catch Friday, we have a new Alpha Command series that's going to help you basically understand mechs and use them in little pieces. So on Tuesday is use your mech. So once you've minted your mech, how to use it. Thursday is we're going to take a 3D world tour. So we're going to go around to all the different 3D worlds and games and take a look at how to use the VRM assets. And then, of course, game night is back on Wednesday. And I think we're all excited about that, too. There's nothing like running around in a game trying to chase and kill each other.
Nothing to get the spirits up and moving.
Yes, there is something fun about that game. I can't describe what it is. Maybe it's just the competition part of it. Okay, and so let's talk about Pixel Brokers briefly.
Yes. So Pixel Brokers, like we mentioned, these are an extension of your CyberBroker asset. So if you own a CyberBroker for free, you get a pixel art version of your CyberBroker. And we have a lot of fun opportunities for you to go around and play some games with your Pixel Broker. So World Wide Web, you can use the Explore feature in their game Rug Busters right now. So you'll be able to play as your CyberBroker in that, which is really, really fun. And then we have such a creative and
Oh, yeah.
fascinating community here at CyberBrokers. So all of these games listed here, we have Flabby Pixel Brokers, Pixel Broker Skies, Pixel Broker Run, and Pixel Broker Invaders. These are all community created games that you can upload your Pixel Broker into and play as your Pixel Broker. So if you head to the community channel in our Discord, you'll be able to check these out and play with your Pixel Broker, which is crazy that we have already all these games, considering we launched, I think it's only like really 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's just 2 weeks ago. seems like forever, doesn't it?
No, I was like, wow, this is a lot.
Well, I think NFT NYC in the middle of it,
yeah.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I've been having the Pixel Broker, Flappy Pixel Brokers is actually my favorite because it's really hard to get like a score. I mean, like literally trying to get 10 points is very difficult. So it's just like, I want to get past 10. I want to get past 10. Okay. Just as a reminder, there are bounties out for Pixel Brokers as well. So at the end of this week, the submissions for Pixel Broker Tool end. So if you have something you're interested in creating for that, make sure to let us know. And then Pixel Broker Game is next week, $500 USDC for each. And take a look at the community page on the website for details of each of those. Okay, let's talk about Mechs, baby. Let's talk about Mech Parts 3.
What everyone's been waiting for, chatting about Mechs.
So where do you go to assemble your mech?
Yes. If you have all of your parts and you are ready to assemble your mech, you can head to snap.cyberbrokers.com, which will take you to the Snap Shack, where you will be able to assemble, customize, and mint your Genesis mech, which will give you immediate access to all your 3D files, which is super, super awesome.
Simple. It's just like that, done.
Yes, exactly. You'll be able to start, you'll be able to download and start using your files basically as soon as your mint is done. So we're super excited to launch the Snap Shack.
And what does Snap stand for again?
So we have the Snap Shack, which is run by, we call him Snap. So it stands for Super Nice Assembly Processor.
Love the lore.
Yes. So he is our little assembly robot. If you head to the pinned tweet on the CyberBrokers Twitter, you can watch our assembly trailer, which features Snap, who I have such a soft spot for Snap after working on that video for so long and, coming up with the little lore behind him. So I think it's a fun video if you haven't seen it, and it kind of gives you a little peek into what the Snap Shack is like.
Which reminds me, we need to change the intro to this, to that new teaser one.
Yes. So next time we'll put Snap in.
There's a new feature to Snap that I believe everyone is going to love.
Yes. So we have an awesome sandbox feature now live. So you'll be able to go in there and play around with all of the different parts we have. So you can experiment with, again, different styles, different colors. So if you kind of aren't sure with what direction you want to take your mech in, if you are new to CyberBrokers and you don't own any mech parts yet, and you kind of are trying to see what you might want to pick up, the sandbox feature is a really, really great tool. So you can kind of experiment around, and it'll give you a feel too for the such high level of customization that you have with these mechs. If you're new here, we have 50 different styles of mechs. You'll need 7 different mech parts to assemble your mech. And you can mix and match all of those 50 styles together. So you can combine all of those, and then you can actually color customize each of the individual mech parts. So
I've been having a blast in there, just trying different combinations. And I think that was a great quick add by development to, like you said, because you don't necessarily have every part. So letting you see how it looks first. One of our community members, CBGB, created a tool that was 2D like this.
Yes.
And that was amazing.
Mhm.
Taking it to the 3D version is next level because you can rotate it and see how it will come out the pipeline.
Yes.
The one thing you can't do through Sandbox is look at naming though.
No. We'll save that for when
When you mint.
when you're ready to mint. So yeah, another customization feature is that we let you choose the name of your mech. So we have thousands of possible naming possibilities, and they are all based on the style of used to construct your mech. So if you look at our Genesis mech collection on OpenSea, you can kind of see just the huge variety of names of our mechs. And each of those names were hand chosen by the user who minted their mech, which again is just like another really fun way to make this super, super custom. So again, we're so excited that you get to make your mech your own. And we've had so much fun just like scrolling through OpenSea and just seeing
And watching the ones that are being created. Yeah.
yeah, like the names and the color combos, and it's just so cool, like how different all these mechs. They all look so different.
So different. Yeah.
So unique.
I minted a Cyber Racer, and I purposely picked a color combination that I didn't think anyone else would pick, and it just pops. I love how the colors changed everything.
Yeah, it's just so personalized. And again, here at CyberBrokers, our big thing is we want to give our holders the tools to use your assets in all areas of the metaverse. And I think a big part of that is making sure your assets reflect who you are. So this is just another cool way. It's just so custom, so cool. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the Genesis Mech collection, just like scrolled through the mechs people have minted, I highly suggest it because it's just so fun. And I know I haven't minted mine yet, so I'm like getting inspired, kind of like
I'm watching them.
Yeah, and be like, okay, what am I gonna do? Like, what colors am I gonna do? What combos? So it's just been so fun, so fun.
Yep. Okay. One final note on this part. As a reminder, there are 17.5 billion combinations of just the parts. Then the combinations go up from there based upon color part choices. So if you run into an issue, we've certainly tried to QA everything as much as possible, but we didn't get to 17.5 billion of them. So if you run into something, go into the supports mech channel in Discord, post your pictures there. There's a form, and we'll get it fixed. The beauty of the future-proof part of Genesis Mechs is update, run it again, boom, NFT updated. It's that simple. Okay. Oh, someone just talked about Cyber Racer. Yeah, Cyber Racer is kind of popular right now.
Yeah, it's been cool because I mean, obviously we developed all these styles, and it's been interesting seeing just like which ones are resonating a lot with people, and especially now because we couldn't tell too after mint like which ones people were going to really gravitate towards based on like how you could customize the colors. So
I've seen a lot of Franken mechs too.
Yeah, which I was so excited for the Franken mechs, and those have just been so cool.
Those are truly unique.
Yeah, 100% unique there.
Okay, I think we've covered everything here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. So I think it's probably important. This was touched on in a live party.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been looking at Mech Assembly as an end date. It's finally here. It's finally delivered. But that's not really true, is it?
Mm-hmm. This is only the beginning. Like we said before, this is the new era of CyberBrokers. So we're super excited to have you along for the ride of all these fun new things we have coming up down the pipeline.
And that's about all we're going to say for right now, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
If you go look at the roadmap, you'll get glimpses of it. We've talked about parts of it, but for right now, just understand there's lots more coming, and enjoy your mechs, running around in 3D worlds with them for now. That's the point.
Yeah.
Reminder, there's going to be content posted on YouTube and the Mech info link on the website. So, make sure to keep looking back there. On the right are some of the worlds and partners that you can start using today or very soon in the future, like with Nifty Island and the game. And I can't wait. That game trailer was
Ugh,
off the hook.
I
Um,
know. The people at Nifty Island, like we were obviously working with them behind the scenes to, make sure our mechs would be compatible. And I'm just so excited. They have a great team there at Nifty Island. It's going to be really fun when we can see our mechs running around in there.
yeah, and then Mona, that world that they created for the dressing room,
Yes.
and they've got a whole creator economy there.
Yes.
So if you're a 3D creator, that's a way to, go monetize your assets. Make sure to check that out.
Yeah.
Webiverse upcoming with the game as well.
Mhm.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Mocha in the future. So we'll hold off on that one. Hyperfy, we're going to demonstrate today. And then, over the weekend, we had a little fun on Cyber. Did you see some of the pictures from that?
Yeah. I popped in like very quickly, but I was working a bit. But I know Josie had a chat in on Cyber, and then that kind of led into like a lot of people playing around in there, which again, just the pictures were so cool, like all the avatars, and you just see like mechs running around. Like,
Yeah.
they're very noticeable. Like you can definitely pick them out of a crowd, which is it's super fun. Like seeing them running around, and you're like, oh, okay, there's another mech person.
Yeah, they because they're non-humanoid.
Yeah.
Most avatars right now tend to be humanoid in nature. Yeah, so the Josie's talk, I think there were like 8 to 10 of us. And we all kind of hung out, and it's kind of funny because you like get in a line and you all press the same dance code, and then there's a whole bunch of people doing the same dance, and you're all just while you're listening to what's going on. And then some of us also, I think Ballistic told us about a broadside world, and so we were all over there checking that out as well. Anyway, we'll get more into that. We could go on for hours on places we've gone with our mechs. So let's just brief. Just wanted to give some visuals. So this one, I think in particular, we liked because it was minted by someone we know.
Yes. So J-Tob, he has helped so much with the quests that we did last year here at CyberBrokers. So I think the name of this is so perfect.
Yep.
We saw it, and we were all freaking out because, I mean, Legendary Curator of Quests is literally what J-Tob did for.
How better could it be? I didn't even know that was a possible combination, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's thousands of name combinations, because basically how they work is we have a formula for each of the 50 styles, so 50 different name formulas, but each of those styles then have buckets of words, and we spit them out with the words swapping in and out of the formula. So we tested the names, but again, it was like the 17.5 billion possible mech combinations. We couldn't see every possible name combo. So yeah, it's been fun seeing like gems like this come out, and like it's just such a cool name too. Like, and it went to the perfect person. And I love how he customized the mech too with the blue. Like it looks really, really, really cool.
Yeah, and this is a favorite of mine. The way the head interacts, and it's almost like a turtle, and it like puts its head in and out. Okay, we're gonna keep moving. Again, we could spend hours on this. I wanted to point out, so if you go to your inventory page on the CyberBrokers website, you will see your mechs, and there are 2 buttons in the upper right you want to pay attention to. The first is a download button, and that will give you a zip file of all your 3D assets. Right now, in some worlds, you need to load them locally versus use a link. So that will help enable that for you. And it also has the GLBs in there in case you're a creator and you want to, pop them into Blender. There is a VRM import extension for Blender, but if you're going to use Blender, GLB is probably the right tool to get. And then there's a copy link. This is your primary VRM that you want to use in worlds. So just sometimes instead of asking for a file upload, they'll ask for a link to your VRM. Just copy and paste that link in, and off you go.
super easy.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Okay, let's talk about utility of Mech before we move on to kind of help close this section.
So everyone wants to know about utility. That's the buzzword. So obviously, they're fun to look at, but what can you do with Mechs? So here are kind of our power statements to go over the utility of what you get. So play. So having a Genesis Mech will give you future access to a narrative-driven experience that we're working on here at CyberBrokers. And again, this will be something that we chat about when we're coming out soon with a new updated kind of roadmap, and you'll hear more about this then. So that's kind of all we can say, but it will give you future access to something we're developing here at CyberBrokers, where you'll be able to complete missions and kind of go on adventures through the paradigm, that kind of vibe. And then connected to play is earning craft. So once we launch this narrative-driven experience, you will be able to actually earn resources through that gameplay and then use those resources to mint entirely new NFTs. So this is something super exciting, where the idea of play to earn, and we want to reward holders for playing with us in our universe. So we're super, super excited about the utility of Mechs in this sense. And then build.
Hold on. Let's stop. So these top two, these are the gamification we've been talking about for a while, right?
Exactly.
And just to be clear, these top two kind of go together and are CyberBrokers specific.
Correct. These are specific to the CyberBrokers universe, and this is an experience that here at CyberBrokers we are working on building now. And again, the idea is as you play, you'll be able to earn and create new NFTs. That's like a big thing here.
And this is where the term operator comes in. A Mech needs an operator.
Yes, correct. So again, we are going to kind of be giving more information soon.
I'm trying to classify, because I've noticed a lot of people get confused because, like, we talk about Nifty Island as a game.
Yes.
As an example. Okay. So that's a game you'll be able to drop your CyberBroker in, basically connect, pick, play. That's different than this gamification. So, for Nifty Island, you don't need a CyberBroker.
No.
To go run around a 3D world, you don't need a CyberBroker. Where you need a CyberBroker or other things is these first two: play, earn, and craft. Okay, so sorry, just want to frame that because that gets confusing sometimes.
Yes.
Okay, on to build.
Yeah. Oh, and just to clarify that too, we will be providing more information about this whole operator thing. So don't feel like if you can't buy a CyberBroker right now, you can't buy a Mech and come into our ecosystem.
Correct.
We'll be providing more guidance on this, and
there will be an answer. We just can't state what it is.
Exactly, but we don't feel left out if you cannot buy a CyberBroker. You can buy a Mech and still participate, and we'll provide more guidance on that. But I just want to make that clear. Then build. This is something that we've touched on. So this idea of kind of endless possibilities of having these ready-to-use downloadable 3D assets. So whether that's uploading them to Blender and creating animations, creating games with them, 3D printing. There's all these things that you can build and create using these 3D assets that, again, you get immediately as soon as you mint your Mech. So this is a really cool utility statement for creators or people who are thinking about jumping into creating in Web3. So again, really excited about that.
And we've even seen people starting to just grab and put into Mixamo, something simple, just like make your Mech dance. I mean, and you don't need huge amount of skills to do that, but you certainly can, if you have those other skills, take the higher res versions and create amazing animations.
And if you are new to building, we actually have a tutorial up on our YouTube. So if you go to our YouTube, if you're watching here, Ben Desai, who works on our team, did an awesome tutorial on how to upload your Mech into Blender and pose it, which I think is a really great entry-level video to watch if you are new to this whole world of 3D assets. And again, like we're talking about Hyperfy today, we want to make sure that we're providing you the resources to learn and kind of, figure out what to do with your Mech if you are new to this. So stay tuned for Paradigm Live and other tutorials. So that's kind of the build utility statement. Explore. So this is what we've touched on with kind of those 3D worlds. So you can essentially take your 3D assets and go and explore all these different 3D universes. So we've worked with some official partners, which we're super excited about. So Mona, we've done a whole partnership with Mona, and they've actually created a whole Genesis Mech showroom for us. So that's a link that we can post actually in the chat here in a bit. And you can go in there and try on a bunch of different mech styles or upload your own 3D files and run around in there, which is super exciting. Nifty Island, again, we've worked with Nifty Island. They haven't launched yet, but it's a whole 3D world game where you'll be able to play as your mech. Super excited about that. We're also been talking with Webiverse, Mocha, and again, like there's other ones like On Cyber and Hyperfy we're talking about today. So there's all these different places where you can, run around with your mech, which we're super excited about. Because again, we're all about kind of, going out and exploring the metaverse here at CyberBrokers. So the Mechs enable you to do that.
And then customize,
which again, we have touched on. So 17.5 possible billion combinations of mechs. And that, again, just includes mixing and matching your parts.
Not
again,
the colors, yeah.
You can individually select your mech parts when you are minting and assembling and change those colors. And you get to pick a completely custom name for your mech as well. So again, these mechs can be the complete embodiment of your personality, your persona here in the metaverse. So again, we are super excited about all these kind of utility power statements. And we're excited in the upcoming weeks to start sharing some more fun things we have planned. But for now,
I think the other part of this is once it's minted, you'll be able to customize in the future as well.
Yes. So you'll be able to disassemble your mech. So that's another important thing. This does not have to be your forever mech. If you're kind of just itching to like get into the CyberBrokers ecosystem or just play around with 3D assets, you can just pick up a bunch of parts. Don't have to be your complete favorite forever. Mint it, and coming soon you'll be able to disassemble for parts, and then you'll be able to reassemble, which is really, really awesome. So you're not
future proof. Yep.
Exactly. You're not tied to this mech forever. You can be if you want, but if you're kind of just itching to see what we're all about here, just pick up a whole bunch of random parts and mint your mech, and then you can kind of see what we're all about here. But yeah, you can always upgrade. You can change the colors later on, swap out, parts for different stats. You have an opportunity to, recreate your mech if you so choose.
Yeah, and there's going to be more coming here as well that we aren't ready to talk about. So let's move on then.
Yes.
Okay, just a reminder, with Genesis Mechs came a whole new set of bounties. We are looking for 3D tutorials. So how to take your mech and do something, a way to help our community, figure out how to use mechs themselves. We're looking for some cool 3D animations. So take the assets, throw them into Blender, or whatever tool you want, and create some animations. $500 USDC for each of those. And then we have a new alpha command post that's being created, 3D creators. And we're looking, there's a submission process for that. And the first 10 we pick will get full minted Genesis mechs. So go to cyberbrokers.com community page. Those are all posted there as well. If you know some 3D creators, make sure to pass that post along to them for the 3D creators post, because we want to get that started as soon as possible as well. And again, helping us start on this 3D journey. The tutorials could be as simple as how to use a mech here, how to use a mech there. They don't have to be complicated. We're just looking something you're interested in, document it, video, whatever.
And it's Mike, you don't have to be a holder, correct? To participate.
Correct. Yes, exactly. Do not need to be a holder for these.
Yes.
Very good clarification.
So if you're just interested, if you've seen our mechs and are interested in playing around with them, looking to, either win a bounty and make some money, or again, just want to, if you apply for a command post and get a free 3D asset to play around with, these are an opportunity to get into our ecosystem that way, which I think is fun.
And then, we're starting with 10, but if there's lots of demand, there may be more than 10.
Yes.
Okay, next up.
Hyperfy.
It's Hyperfy time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love talking about all this stuff, but this is the fun part of using the stuff, and this is what the mechs are all about. So Hyperfy.io is basically a 3D world creator. It's on chain, meaning it stores all the data for your 3D world on chain. And it's very easy to use. I think that's the factor of why you might pick Hyperfy is it's mint world, connect wallet, drag and drop. You don't need any huge 3D skills to be able to use it. You don't need to use Blender. Obviously, that has some, I wouldn't call them limitations, but that means it's good for certain things. Whereas the opposite side, like Mona and others, you currently create in Blender or Unity or things like that. So I think Hyperfy, the easiest to do is just show it, frankly. Visuals work so well here. So if you go to hyperfy.io, okay, you can look and they have all these existing worlds that people have created. You can click on any of them and then upload your VRM to be your mech in those. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow in Alpha Command. What I want to talk about was more, taking a look at how you use it. So the dress up room, this is a blank world. So you kind of start with a blank slate, okay? And then you have this world builder app, and you can add things. So like, I don't see any, I've got an island created here, but I don't see any water. So let's go down to environment and let's add some water. Okay. So I can see, okay, my island's kind of underwater now. So this, I don't even know what to call this. The arrows, you pick the arrow and I can make the water go down some. Okay. And I want it right there, I think.
Mike, anyone can go and you buy a world, correct? And
yeah, my apologies. I should have done that earlier. Yeah. So you mint a world. They're currently at 0.09 ETH. The original supply was 0.0 ETH, 0.08 ETH. Those all sold out. So now they're on to the 0.09 ETH realm. So you buy it, you mint it to your wallet, you connect your wallet, and then you get this interface. And it's like literally, again, that simple.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of that. I just jumped right in.
So I'm new to 3D assets for everyone who doesn't know. So I'm like right along with anyone else. So I'm learning along with you about Hyperfy and just, how to get started basically, because I'm excited to start using my assets, but
yeah. So this is kind of an easy way for people who are new to 3D to get a drag and drop interface to create something. So I've got an island now. I've got water, and the tab key gets me to my world building, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, I need a sky now, right?
Okay.
So let's add. Oh, boom.
Cool.
There's a sky, and you can pick from different versions.
Yeah.
So within 3 clicks, I have just created, a land type, added some water to it, and a sky.
Yeah.
Okay. You hit save, and it puts it on chain.
Oh, awesome.
And then it's if you look, it's got all these different, you can add in images. You can put a screen. So we'll show in a minute. Ballistic has a room where they all watch this live stream. Okay. So you can put a screen with, video showing, text, video, websites, 3D models, audio. It's just, I don't want to go through it this way, but I want to show how easy it is to just pick something and go. So I want to put a little text right there. Okay. Hello, CyberBrokers. I want to move it around. Okay? I want to change the size of it. Okay, I want to change the color of it.
Yeah, the interface seems really user friendly.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
And that's the idea. So for anyone who's interested in playing with and building 3D worlds, this is a great starting point. And I think this is why we wanted to show Hyperfy first, just because not all of our holders have a large amount of 3D skills. So this is a great playground to start with.
Yeah. And we'll show that you'll be able to upload your mechs in here.
Exactly. So I could I can be my mech in here. So let's do I have a URL of my mech? So we'll show this. If I go to engine, I'll pick my CyberRacer one.
Cool.
And there we are. Okay, so I just go here. I'm going to grab my .0 VRM.
Okay.
That's the important one. .0. I copy the link address. I go back here. I type URL. There it is.
That's so easy.
Yeah. Boom. Now I can walk around. With
cool.
That's the point. That simple. Yeah. Okay. You could also take your mechs and instead of being them, put them in as objects. So you could kind of create your own dressing room and show off place for your mechs.
Yeah.
So I wanted to leave this world, and I wanted to show the demo world we created. Oh no, it went away. Let me go back here. So when we were looking at creating this dressing room, we actually used Hyperfy as a storyboard tool, right? So we just mocked up and we played with ideas before Mona and all their 3D experience came into play.
Yes.
And so this was as an example of a world in Hyperfy that we created to take a look at how we could do this whole dressing room thing. So I mean, you and I, did this, right?
Yep. This is where I tried on Nico-chan for the first time.
Yeah. So it's got all these great features. This building, it's just a GLB file. We went on to some of the free art sites and grabbed a GLB we liked and boom, popped it in.
I think that's something too, if you're new to 3D, because again, I'm a complete noob, there are websites you can go to and they have 3D files either for free or you can pay $3, $4,
Like Shutterstock for 3D assets.
Yep. And I think that, again, if you have never modeled anything before, there are sites you can go to get access to files, to create your own worlds. So you don't have to make them yourself. There are places you can go and download them, which is something, again, as I'm getting, learning about this world, that was something I was like, oh, this is cool. And I was searching on all those websites for inspo for things.
Yeah, it's like Pinterest. Instead of going to Pinterest, you go to this site, you look for ideas of existing 3D assets,
Yeah.
and it's mixing and matching and creating your own 3D world out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, that would be something, again, if you're new and you wanted to have a Hyperfy world, that's something that you could do is, you said Shutterstock. I know Turbo Squid was one that I've used. There are a whole bunch of websites you can buy or download for free 3D models people have uploaded. So that's a way you could customize your own world with very limited 3D experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Miku-chan.
Mechs.
They just look so cool, like moving. And like if you try on all the different styles, again, we have 50 if you're new here. All of these you can go to the Mona World we linked in chat to try on if you're new and you want to kind of play around. But they all, like, just because of how different like all the styles are, just how they all move and everything is so cool, like how different they are. Like it's so fun.
Yeah, and this one doesn't show quite as well because of the darkness in the 3D dressing room, but here's an example of what it looks like in a lighter environment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just to kind of summarize, we created this with like 0 3D skills, drag and drop, so if you want to start playing with 3D worlds, Hyperfy is a great place. 0.09 ETH, grab a world, play. I want to show Ballistic's world because he did exactly that.
So yeah, if you're Ballistic is one of our amazing mods and also CyberBrokers holder. So this is a good example of something you could build.
There we go. Sketchfab. That was the other place.
Another one for 3D assets.
Yep.
This might sound funny, but like this kind of reminds me if you ever played Sims.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this is like that ease of access point, like you can go really deep and custom if you have those skills, but if you don't, you can like have all these resources to kind of pull something together.
Look, you can see us live. See what he did?
Oh, I see Wowie.
Yeah. There's Mark. Hi, Mark. Oh, look, Ballistic sitting up on the.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Okay, so I'm assuming he got a GLB of like this hanger. I'd love to know where you found that because we were looking for something like this. Basically created some big screens. So that is the website page. Wow, look at that. That's all the
You're actually clicking on this, right, Mike?
Yeah, so I click. Oops.
So that's cool too. You can actually look at websites on these screens and then
live.
click. Yeah, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. So then over here, oh yes, it's screen sharing. So
we're in like Inception mode.
Yep. See what happened? I'm doing too much, and there goes my background again.
The Inception.
Well, that's causing a loop. So let me back up. And then this is a website page, and Ballistic. I'm assuming you took your
so cool
Mech into Blender and then posed it and made it bigger.
I love the lichen in that pose. That's so cool. And you can see again like the details like on like the claws, like the feet.
Yes.
So that's also fun, I think, about uploading and seeing your actual 3D files. Like you'll be able to see them in 3D when you're assembling your mech, but when you upload them, either here or in like Blender, you can really see all of the detail that went into these, which is just so cool.
Okay, so there it is in normal form.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, look at the size of that thing. That's awesome.
I know. So in the CyberBrokers universe, mechs they slightly vary in size, but they're around like 30 meters tall. So they're big. They're really, really big. So this is cool to see them, to scale.
Yep.
So yeah, Ballistic saying GLB imposed, and then he used the VRM to try on.
And my computer is wigging out again.
We in too much.
Yeah, it's I've got too many things going. Okay, so we're going to stop showing that for a minute. Let's come back to here. Okay, so that's the basic idea. You know, drag, drop, play. As you can see, Ballistic has been having fun doing that. So, oops, there we go. Okay, I'm back to normal. So hyperfy.io, go check it out. You know, easy place to get creating, and if you're looking for help, pop into Discord. There's people there that are creating worlds in Hyperfy as well. Do we have any? I think we want to end with Q&A.
Yeah, so obviously Mech Assembly just happened. So if anyone has any general questions about Mechs, this would be a time if you want to ask them in chat. We can kind of go through them. And we can kind of talk, me and Mike can chat through them live. If not, we're always in Discord. You can ask there. But we figured we'd...
Office hours tomorrow as well. Yep. So open question time. Fire your questions if you got it. Otherwise, we'll be happy to wrap this up and see you in Discord.
Yeah. And I guess too, like another general question is if there is something that you want us to cover in Paradigm Live about things maybe you'd want to do with your mechs, feel free to drop suggestions again in our Discord, because we want to give you the resources you need to feel empowered to build and create. So if there's any guests you want us to try and get on, or things you want to learn how to do, always just feel free to drop suggestions in, because Paradigm Live is again for everyone to, you know, keep up to date and learn. So want to make it as useful as possible.
And I should note, Hyperfy unfortunately was planning on being here today, but they had a last minute conflict. So they wish they were here, but I think we did an okay job, and we'll find another time to bring them on, so we can even hear more about, I think, what the future holds for Hyperfy. That's the part we couldn't cover here that I think would be interesting for people to hear as well.
Yeah, I know. I would be excited to hear about that chat.
Okay. With that said, I don't see any questions. So thank you for showing up, and we'll see you in Discord, everybody.
Yep.
Bye.